Thank you so much for joining us for CEO to CEO. You know, it doesn't matter whether you are the CEO of your life, your family, an organization that you belong to, or you're the CEO of your own business. And you can be an employee, you can be in sales. It honestly doesn't matter. It's you being in charge and you being in control. And I think, you know, having gone through the pandemic, there is no doubt that it's impacted people tremendously and tremendously from an emotional level. Prior to this, we were already on the scale of going into emotional intelligence being more important from a business perspective. People are becoming more connected. They're becoming more connected with each other. They're realizing that we are indeed all connected, and people really want to matter. So this is going to be based on really where you want to go. It will help you probably in most facets of your life. And the best thing that I can give you for advice right now is make sure you have a pen and paper. We remember what we write down, and to be able to write down just points that are pertinent to you. Not all of this will be pertinent to you, but some of it will be incredibly important. And my wish is that there's one or two golden nuggets that really strike a nerve that you can start to implement in your life to make it go from happiness to fulfillment. That's really the goal. Every one of us is a work in progress. We're growing all the time. That's definitely the hope. There's a tremendous amount of people that are living on the sidelines, and I think even more so because of everything that we've just been through. So this is to really kind of take back control and be in charge of your own life. You know, there's a very big difference between being efficient and being effective. Efficient means I'm doing things right, but effective means I'm doing the right things. And sometimes there's just a few bullet points, a few things that will really make a difference for you in growing. You know, I think that most CEOs, most people that are in a leadership position, they're optimistic, they have a positive mindset. And whatever way that we can get to that positive mindset, we really need to be able to do that. Business acumen is important if you're running a business, but emotional intelligence is so important. So as we go through this, you'll see some points that hopefully will be pertinent to you. First thing in any good business or any good life is to know what you want. And I'm going to give you a couple examples here because I think that just having a picture of maybe there'll be an opportunity for an aha moment for you. I have a friend that has a business that exactly what he wanted was to have more quality of life. He's been running this business 7 days a week, 12 hours a day for more than a decade. And he really wanted to have a little bit of time off and a better quality of life. So that key, knowing what he wanted, then he started to think about where are there possible windows of opportunity for me to have what I want, what I truly want. And as he looked in his organization, he looked at his company, he looked at his business, he realized he had one person in there compared to all of the rest of the employees that was working smarter, working harder, and that really had the diligence. So what he did was he gave him a percentage of the company. He gave him a small percentage of ownership in the company so that he could start to cut down his hours, and said he would gradually give him the opportunity to build and have more ownership by just putting in the time and the effort so that he could step back a little bit. And his end goal is that this person ends up owning his company at some point in time and he can completely retire. But he's not ready for that yet, and he's got an opportunity to be able to mentor somebody. He found it by just knowing exactly what he wanted and then going into the picture of how he was going to get it, right? If you know what you want, I want to make X amount of dollars, then you start backtracking into where am I going to find those dollars? Where am I going to find those windows of opportunity that will help me? We have a martial arts studio that we belong to, and they wanted to be able to grow and branch out into other markets. They wanted the opportunity to branch out in other markets, but they realized if they tried to do it themselves with the 4 people in charge, that they would water down their system. And they have a really well-oiled machine, a tremendous system. People respect them incredibly. So what they chose to do was to partner with people once they became a master. If they were interested in owning their own school, give them an opportunity. And so they would partner with them. They were also aware of opportunities, and this is an important piece of the puzzle. They knew where there was the right density of population. They knew where there was the opportunity that there weren't so many martial arts studios in that community, so that there wasn't enough people to go around, right? They did their homework. They did their due diligence to find it out. So they found a solution in a couple of different directions, and then they were able to literally mentor people into those positions. When you know what you want and you know where you want to go, it's aligned with where your values are. It's amazing how much you end up going and growing forward because you truly know what you want. And now I'm aligned with my value system. We also get really passionate when we're actually going down the path of what it is we want. There are so many people that just come to work and it's automatic pilot, right? They come to work and it's automatic pilot. They come to home and it's automatic pilot. And by knowing what you want, you can get a passion behind what it is you want to accomplish. And that makes it a whole lot easier to continue down that path. Back to emotional intelligence. You know, if you focus on people and you put people before profits, if you really pay attention to people and you give them what it is that they want, you will grow so much further. So I'm going to go down a few paths here. And one of the questions I was going to ask in the front, how well do you know your people? If you are the boss of people, even if you have a personal assistant, how well do you know that person? How well do you know their dreams? How well do you know their wants? You know, through the pandemic, we found that there were some people that really wanted to spend a little bit more time with their families, so they were able to have more flexible hours. And by having more flexible hours, they had so much appreciation that they actually aligned with the company even better, and they were willing to do even more just to be able to have that work-life balance. But maybe it's going up to the next level and mentoring them and giving them opportunities to attend courses or attend things that help them to grow on a higher scale. When you know your clients, when you know what their dreams are, when you know what their goals are, the people in your community, if there's a community that you serve, if you're running an organization, maybe it's a Girl Scout troop, and you want to know really what would make this, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would make this a 10 for the people that are there in this organization? What would make them really happy? What are the things that they're excited about? What are the things that they want to learn? And really staying down that path so that everybody aligns. You'll get so much more out of everybody. I recommend, you know, you Google them, you friend them on Facebook, you connect with them on LinkedIn. Obviously, we're not doing that with young kids, but with the people that are really important in your life, the more we're around and we found out what's really important to them, the better off we're going to be. I do this on a regular basis. In fact, I probably do this every single quarter, and I can tell you that it's so important to really know firsthand where somebody is right now and where somebody is in the relationship with you. Whenever there's a void, negativity fills that void. And here we are going through the pandemic and people not having as much connection, people not having as much touch. And so we're finding that there are some people that are distancing themselves. And you know what? We can do a social distance of 6 feet, but not be distant. And the more we're tied to a relationship and building that relationship, the better off we're going to be. So, you know, clients, your community, leaders in your community, leaders in the industry that you represent, but also the people that you work with on a regular basis. Maybe they're people related to your field, like in real estate, it would be mortgage company appraisers, home inspectors, title companies, etc. Or the people that literally report to you. What do you know about them? Truly, what do you know about them and what their dreams are? Have you been able to bridge back that connection? People grow when they're in an environment that they trust. And I'm going to give you probably the best example I can ever give. During the recession, the worst recession since the Depression, a couple years into the recession, Exit was impacted financially. We're a privately held company. It originated in Canada. Canada has the best banking system in the world. And here we were with a lot of short sales and foreclosures. And the chief operating officer called the founder and chairman and myself, and we had a conversation about how tight money was. And it's amazing because everyone at the same time basically said, what's the right thing to do? And we decided that we were going to outsell and outthink our way out of the recession, that we were in charge, and if anybody took a hit and pay, it was going to be leaders. And by doing that, we created such a strong bond with our people because they were in a position of trust. And one of the reasons you want this 1 to 10 relationship is you really want to get in close enough so that that happiness goes to fulfillment, so that you can really get the most and the best out of people. We did outsell and outthink our way out of the recession, and by doing that, we created a nice, comfortable zone for our people. They felt safe. They felt like they were cared for. They saw where our priorities were, and when they saw that they were a priority. And so when the pandemic hit, instead of laying off people in droves and having people literally be invisible, which we witnessed a lot of happening, we went back to who we are as a core. We are a group of individuals dedicated to providing a quality of life for our agents, brokers, regional owners, and the communities that they serve. And we put together, what do they need? And we put together a stimulus package worth in excess of $50 million, literally within 48 hours time. But here's the magic. Everyone within our organization, all the way down to the person that answers the phone, everyone just raised their hand and said, how can we help? How can we be part of? The number one thing, Wall Street Journal statistics, not mine, is people want to be part of something better. They want to forge that connection. They want to feel valued. But you know what? They want to contribute. Most people really love to have that honest give and take. When you set and share goals regularly, and I want to hit this on a family level and on a business level, because when a family works together as a team, that we're all working together and we're heading towards a vacation that we have on our vision board, or we're heading towards that we want to make sure that Sundays are sacred and that we spend that day as a family. How can we all pitch in a little bit better so that we can accomplish that as a family? There are so many things that just once we know what it is that we have for a goal, we can share it. I'll give you a couple of mine that just come right off the cuff. One, as a family, we decided that we wanted to have some common grounds. We wanted to make sure that there was some consistency and some common ground. So all of us belong to martial arts. We all got involved in martial arts, and we made a commitment for 15 years to go 3 times a week. But you know what? It didn't have to be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 p.m. It could have been 6 o'clock in the morning on Monday, 7 p.m. on Wednesday, and Saturday morning. We just committed to 3 times a week. And that made it doable because there was some flexibility there. I always ask my children on Sunday night, what do you want to do this week? And I would guarantee we'd do it that week, but it wouldn't be Tuesday afternoon at 3, we're going to go to the movies, or Wednesday afternoon at 4, we're going to the library. I would commit that we'd do it that week. And sometimes I was running up the library steps at 5:30 on Saturday when they closed at 6, but I never had to break a promise because we had that goal. And then we reminded them. And so they feel that safe haven. They feel that connection. They feel that bond, right? Everybody doing it together. For exit, one of the toughest states for part of my responsibility is selling regions, the rights to an individual territory of either a state or a province, sometimes multiples or a percentage of. And when we were selling Illinois, the rights to Illinois, I was focused on selling Illinois. It was a very regulated state. It took longer to get approval than any other state, but we knew it was really big and really important for us. So I actually shared with my family, my children were younger at the time, once we sell Illinois, I'm going to take everybody to Italy and we're going to blow out all the stops. They were so excited about the trip and what they could be looking forward to. And I kept reminding them so that they were stuffing envelopes and they were asking how it was going when I got home from work. How's it going with Illinois? How's it going working on stuff? So we were a team. You can do that within your business and you can definitely do it within your family. It's just making sure those goals are in alignment, that everyone is on board with where those goals are going, and that you are sharing regularly, not just what we have for goals, but here's how far we are so far. And here's how you can contribute. Here's how you can be part of this, because that will make a giant difference. I'm a firm believer that one size does not fit all. We all have different dreams and different wishes, and that's why personalization is so important. If you're in sales, you probably have 12 to 25 people that are the most important people in your sales. They're giving you repeat and referral business. It's a constant that's going on. And so if I can personalize it to what's really important to you, people would take Literally 74% of the population prefers an experience as opposed to a gift. And that personalization can be something as simple as I'm sending you a link because you mentioned something that was really important. Keep notes on every person that you have a priority of working with, your clients, your family members. Maybe they mentioned an interest of photography, and all of a sudden you see a course on photography at the library, and you're keeping track of it so that you make sure and remember, and they're pleased that you remembered what it was. It could be something that they're really trying to accomplish, and once they get to this goal, they're going to do something major. They're going to buy an investment property. They're going to, it doesn't matter what that thing is, it's just that we're really personalizing it to them. I find taking notes so that I know this is something that's a priority to them. It can be something as simple as they love penguins, so I'm going to make sure I can try and find a card with a penguin on it so that they know that I remembered that about them, right? But I can send a link. I don't have to spend money all the time. I can send a link. I can send a book. I can write them a personal note. I can find something that just reminds me of them. It doesn't always have to be spending money. It could be just sending a video. Hey, I was thinking about you. I know that today's a big day for you and you're trying to accomplish X, Y, and Z. They will remember those moments that touch them. Our family will, our friends will, our community will. And that, by the way, will make it so that you feel more fulfilled than you've ever felt. This kind of goes without saying, right? Value equals income. But I want to take it further than that, because value doesn't just equal income. Value equals quality of life. What is that quality of life for you and the people that you serve and the people that are your tribe? What is that value? I say often that I don't sell anything, and yet I've broken records in selling, because all I do is go out and provide value for whoever I'm in front of. That person could be a potential agent, broker, regional owner, or referral source for me, or I could just be adding value to their life. But I know that every time I go out and have a conversation, and every time I go out and add value, I'm putting money in the bank. I'm adding an opportunity. But it also, value equals quality of life. When you're living with deliberate intent and you're focused on how can I maximize on this experience? How can I make this an amazing wow experience for the people that I'm serving? The more you do that, the more you'll see such a giant return in your life, and it will come to you surprisingly in a lot of different ways, not just the ways that you expect. Consistency is such an issue for everybody, but the habits, millionaires' habits, perfect example. They probably have learned to do one or two things really well. They rise early, they meditate, they exercise, they have great focus, they live with deliberate intent. So when I get in the right habits and I'm steady and consistent, and really for everybody that's paying attention, I can't start off, if I know that 6 appointments a week are going to make me excel and break records, I can't start off at 6 appointments if I haven't even averaged one. I've got to get to the point that I'm doing one. If I'm doing marketing and branding and I'm utilizing social media, it's better for me to do one thing consistently and add another thing next week or next month, so that people have the expectations and they see that consistency. Marketing 101, you need to have 6 to 9 repetitions in front of your face in order to really create that memory. That branding, that message needs to be consistent. And this is in our whole entire life, right? If I say these are what my values are, but I act a different way, it's going to be totally different. If I am marketing myself as an expert in a certain field, in a certain arena, but then my marketing and branding doesn't look the same, it doesn't match up, there's nothing that's continuous about it, I'm going to fall short. If I want to go jump out and take over this much territory, I've got to start off with the small habits and work. There's a great book, The Compound Effect, and it really is about even if I just change 1 degree, I want to get healthier, so I put my sneakers at the end of my bed. And that's a habit that I get into all the time. And once I put them on, it's going to be an automatic that I'm going to exercise. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to do something that's going to be healthy and good for me. If I want to start to market to people, and I'm going to start to do videos, then I need to make sure that I have a consistent setup of what those videos are. By the way, videos are a great way to have people really actually see the real you. and going back to emotional intelligence and people really buying you first and building that connection with you first, it works incredibly well. CEOs, that chief executive officer of our life, CEOs need to continue to grow. We need to continue to grow as an individual. We need to grow personally and professionally in order for people to be willing to follow us. We need to constantly grow, but you know what? It will keep you happy. It's so easy to be on the sidelines and to sit on the sidelines and get into automatic pilot. It's very easy for it to happen. It's easy for us to fall out of habits. If we got sick and 4 days in a row we didn't work out, and then all of a sudden we're not working out anymore, that we weren't doing our homework to see what is that next level. I'm going to give you a couple places that are great for growth. Books. Surrounding yourself with books, surrounding yourself with people that make you want to be a better person, surrounding yourself with people that bring out the best in you, but also surround yourself with a couple of really grounded people that will tell you the truth. They will tell it like it is, and they will share with you when they see that you're off track, when they see that there's some potential in you, but you haven't executed it. They will be the ones that will really ground you and that will really help you to grow in those directions. Podcasts, I can't emphasize it enough. People that steadily listen to podcasts all the time average about $250,000 in income. But that's people that are listening to podcasts every single day. You will find some that really align with your values, that really align with your growth. And it's amazing because you can listen to it in the shower, you can listen to it while you're driving, commuting time. Now what's the highest and best use of my time and my energy? Time is such a valuable asset. And now I'm not wasting any of it. Right? And I'm constantly growing. But surrounding yourself with those people that really push you to get more out of yourself, and always keeping in front of you the targets of what it is that you want to accomplish. If I have those targets in front of me and I know what I want, I'm definitely going to go further. You want to grow everyone. If you see an opportunity to give someone, and I don't mean meddling in their lives because it's dramatically different than that. No meddling in anybody's life. But if you see an opportunity to grow someone, you see something in them. This is probably my favorite part of my job. My goal is to always help people see the best in themselves and to really find out what it is that is their lane. And sometimes it's literally only pointing them 3 to 5 degrees in a different direction, and all of a sudden they have found something in themselves that they never saw before. And it's an amazing feeling when they get there. People become what we tell them they can be, right? So if you recognize talent, and we catch and highlight people when they're doing something really good, man, that was a really effective way of doing that. I can't believe how quick you are on the computer. Oh my gosh, you just seem to have a natural affinity for this. Have you ever thought about? But always constantly growing. I'm of that era that I actually had a compound effect savings account, right? I had a compound passbook savings account, and I couldn't wait to go. Every time I saved money, I couldn't wait to go and put the money in and then have them run it through the machine, and so that you could see in a different color ink how much interest you earned. Think about that every time you're getting in front of somebody, that you're adding value, you're putting something in, you're not taking anything away, you're always constantly putting something in. They will remember that it's there focused on them. And from this standpoint, it is so important to be an active listener. And an active listener is listening to understand, not listening to think about what they're going to say next. And the more we do that, the better off we're going to be for everybody that's around. And that's how you really start to learn those things about people, that you can really just, man, get ideas that really help them to grow to the point that they are just so appreciative. And not that you're doing it for the appreciation, you're doing it because you have the opportunity while you're in front of them. But people will remember that. Find peer groups. Peer groups that keep you passionate. Maybe that's a charitable organization or a civic organization that you want to belong to, that you really appreciate, that your values align with theirs, that you really want to contribute, that you have something to contribute. But it's also that you're going to learn from all of these people, and they're going to give you different ideas. All of us hit a wall sometimes. And when you can be around a group of individuals and they can keep you passionate and they can keep you motivated, and they're all constantly growing, not only will you get ideas to bring back into your own life and to bring back into your own business, but you'll keep that fire. When we know what we want to do and it aligns with our true values, our mind actually works better. our memory works better, our ambition works better. We're able to stick with something even when it's so tough and we think that we can't. We're able to stick with absolutely anything. You will bring new ideas to the table everywhere. Maybe it's something that somebody did with their family, and wow, what if we incorporated in that in our family? Would that be a great thing? Maybe it's something that was an idea that when you shifted it over, I'll give you a great example. I give blood on a regular basis, and I get I get an email. It used to be a card in the mail. I get an email that says, congratulations, your blood was used today at Cape Cod Hospital, or wherever the hospital was that it was used. I'm a universal donor, so I'm actually fortunate enough that I get that often. Well, that made me think, for even Exit Realty as a whole, what if we could touch more people? And so it actually made us make our charitable program. We give money from every transaction to charity. It made us get to touch more people, and it also gave us the opportunity to send an email to everybody that touched that transaction, letting them know, congratulations, you just gave back to your community. But those were things that came from somewhere outside. We always get those ideas. My advice, whether you have a recorder, you put it into your smartphone, or you just write it down. For me, you always remember what you write down. It goes into your subconscious. And sometimes I see an idea, write it down, and I don't act on it for 6 months to a year because I love the idea, but I couldn't necessarily see where I could incorporate it. And then you have those moments that really click. That definitely makes a big difference on writing those ideas down. Reread all of the notes that you have taken through so many times, and you'll go back to things and go, wow, today's the day. Now is the time for me to actually implement this. I believe this with every fiber of my being. If you lead people, profits will follow. We're focused on human potential. This entire organization was built on human potential. If you lead for profits, people will leave. But take that a step further, because we are the happiest when we're actually making a difference. We're the happiest when we're actually really living our true purpose. And so when you do things that are just specifically for you and not for a bigger picture, which CEO literally embodies bigger picture, when you aren't doing them for a bigger picture, you will lose people too. You'll lose relationships, you'll lose connections. Those connections will get smaller for you. So it's always keeping that in mind of what's the big picture, where is it that I can add the most value. One more point, billionaires are the number one thing that billionaires have to say about how they became a success. And most of them are incredibly self-made, and they started off with really humble beginnings. The number one thing that they say that they focus on is persistence. That is amazing to me. And so you have to have a positive outlook, whatever way you have to reinforce yourself, meditation, having silence first thing in the morning, and meditating and exercising so that you've started off your day with you in control, visualizing how you want the day to go, having that positive outlook, and being persistent. So I love this definition for persistence. One step forward. Sometimes you take one step forward and you end up taking 2 steps back. Sometimes you take one step forward and you take 1 step back. Instead of thinking of that as a step back, think of it as a dance. Your life is a dance. And right now you just happen to be doing the cha-cha. But if you stay persistent and consistent going forward, you'll be the CEO of so many facets of your life. And I hope more than anything, since you were willing to spend time with us today, that you picked up a few points that will hopefully change the trajectory of where you are right now to where you want to be.